Throughout the centuries, people have wondered, where did Eden go? If the garden was real, as the Bible plainly says, then what became of it after Adam and Eve were cast out? Was it destroyed, hidden, or does it still exist somewhere in the world, untouched, veiled from the eyes of humankind? Many theories have emerged. One of the most ancient and persistent theories is that the Garden of Eden was located somewhere in Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers, modern-day Iraq, where the Tigris and Euphrates still flow today. Genesis names these rivers directly when describing Eden. Some have pinpointed a place near the headwaters of the Tigris and Euphrates, near the Persian Gulf, or even southeastern Turkey, where ancient civilizations once thrived. But the Bible mentions 4 rivers, not just 2. The Pishon and the Gihon are less identifiable. Some have tried to match the Pishon with rivers in Arabia or even in India, while others say the Gihon could be the Nile in Africa. This has led to broader interpretations, suggesting Eden might have been at a unique geographic convergence that no longer exists. That brings us to a second theory. Eden was destroyed by the Great Flood. According to Genesis, the flood in Noah's time covered the entire earth. Mountains were submerged. The fountains of the deep burst open. The entire surface of the planet was reshaped. If Eden existed in a physical place before the flood, then that sacred ground may have been lost beneath water and sediment, erased by divine judgment, just as the sinful world was. In this view, Eden is not hidden. It's gone, destroyed, buried, scattered in fragments across an unrecognizable landscape. Yet others believe Eden was not destroyed, but just taken. This, the third theory, suggests that God removed Eden from the earth entirely. That after humanity's fall, and especially after the flood, God translated the garden into another realm. Not destroyed, not buried, but lifted, sealed away in the heavens. Some early Jewish writings and Christian thinkers entertained this idea. They imagined Eden as a paradise now in heaven, beyond the visible sky, awaiting the righteous. In this view, when Scripture speaks of paradise in the New Testament, it is speaking of that same garden, still guarded, still holy, preserved for the future. In Luke 23, Jesus tells the thief on the cross, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Was he referring to a heavenly Eden, a restored version of the garden, already waiting beyond time? And in 2 Corinthians, Paul speaks of being caught up to the third heaven, to paradise, where he heard inexpressible things. Perhaps this was more than a vision. Perhaps Paul had seen what remained of the garden that once stood on earth. Then there is a fourth theory, more mystical, but still deeply rooted in symbolic thought, that Eden is hidden somewhere on earth, still protected by divine means. Some believe that Eden could still physically exist, but cloaked, unreachable, veiled from human discovery. Guarded as it was in Genesis by cherubim and a flaming sword, Eden might still be sealed away by supernatural power. No satellite, no expedition, no explorer would be able to find it. Like the flaming sword, the way remains closed. This idea fuels countless legends, tales of travelers who encountered impossible beauty in remote mountains, jungles, or valleys, whispers of an untouched land where time seems to stand still. Are these myths merely imagination, or echoes of something lost? Still others interpret Eden not as a location at all, but as a spiritual condition. They say Eden was the place where God and man walked together, unbroken by sin. So in this view, Eden is more about God's presence than about geography. When man sinned, he didn't just lose access to a garden, he lost communion with God, and therefore, the true Eden can only be regained through restoration, not by finding a hidden valley or climbing to some distant peak, but by returning to the presence of God through faith, through redemption, through the tree of life offered again in Revelation. So where is the Garden of Eden now? No one can say with certainty. The Bible leaves it veiled. The river no longer flows in this world. The tree is guarded. The sword still turns, but the longing remains. Perhaps the garden was buried beneath layers of earth, washed away in a flood no man could survive. Perhaps it was taken up, preserved in a realm beyond our reach. Perhaps it waits for us, not in this world, but in the world to come. Or perhaps, just perhaps, the garden still lives, not under our feet or above our heads, but in the heart of every person who longs for a place where death never entered, where the voice of God still walks in the cool of the day, and where the way to the tree of life will once again be open. Until then, Eden remains a mystery, a memory, a promise. And one day, when all things are made new, when the curse is broken and the sword is laid down, the garden may bloom again.